Greetings, friends. It's Collrane or Collrane Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, and what I am creating for you, for the collective today, is a pick a card reading that is timeless, and we are going to focus on your self-love and what that journey or what that experience means for you. We're going to be using a spread from this book. I actually designed the art on the background of the cover, as well as all of the illustrations inside this beautiful book. Here's one of them. This book was written by a dear friend of mine, Lexi Hideko, of Light Wands Tarot. So if you are a fan of hers, welcome. If you are someone who's never interacted with either of us before, please give her a check out. Her work is really amazing and inspires me a lot, and without her I don't know if I would be doing this, so thank you, Lexi. We're going to be using the spread from page 44 of this book. Let me flip to it. So this segment is called Looking In, Reflect on Your Piece of the Pie. And then we're going to be doing this spread here, which question asks, through what methods do I best process self-love? So we're going to be diving in, and I'll introduce the piles based on which druzy you may feel connected to. So the first druzy is a pink amethyst druzy. The second is just a regular purple amethyst druzy. And the third is a celestite or celestine, I've seen it both ways, druzy, blue. So when you're ready, get into that meditative space, begin to listen to your breath, to the oracle of your body, and I will see you in your pile. Bye, my friend. So, hello, group 1, or this pink amethyst druzy group. Welcome to your reading. So, we're going to get started. I already have the first card channeled from Apocalyptic Theater, which is the deck that I created. But I'm going to actually live shuffle the other 3 cards from this spread. So, tapping into your energy, I want to channel a little bit first before I go right into the spread. This pink amethyst crystal repels negativity and actually invites in more positive energy into our lives and more balanced energy as well. So for many of you, you may be experiencing a time period where you're really doing that part of alchemy where everything has already, broken down. I'm forgetting the exact Latin scientific words for this process, but everything essentially emulsifies through this alchemy process, and all matter, all energetic matter, we're talking about, on an energy level, gets really broken down into this very malleable substance, and then begins to reform and turn into something new and take on a new identity. So for a lot of you, I've been picking up this energy in my readings in general recently, just of an identity shift, being able to look at oneself in a completely new way with a new perspective. And so I feel like this is a collective energy that's happening. You're not alone in this process. If you feel really lost and confused about who you are, maybe you're connecting to tarot a lot more frequently than you ever have been in the past. This is honestly a really good experience and something that is a really positive shift in your life, I'm feeling, because it's actually giving you the tools and the keys to open the doors that you've been needing to open in your life recently. So yeah, this pink amethyst is a really good crystal just for those times of becoming new, finding a new sense of self, but also getting rid of anything that doesn't align with that transition and that experience of change and opening oneself up to new horizons. So this first card in this spread, if you skipped the intro, I am doing a spread on page 44 from this book, which I designed this cover art and a lot of the illustrations. I don't know why I keep saying a lot of the illustrations. I guess like I designed anything that's drawn in this book, like this little flower, I drew those. But the spreads themselves like this, they were drawn by my good friend Lexi, Hideko of Light Ones Tarot, who is the author of this book. But I just wanted to plug that. I will have a link in the description for that book. But anyway, the spread, the general question is, through what methods do I best process self-love? And so in the first card of this spread, it's answering the question through the lens of how I define self-love. So I'm going to flip this card over and give you a look as to how the cards are going to reflect how you define self-love. So the Page of Earth here, reflecting that how you define self-love, is showing me that you're someone who really likes to explore all your options through experience. The page is someone who maybe has a bit less experience or is open to experience. So you're definitely someone who has a curious attitude towards life. I'm feeling like a lot of this pile, it's interesting, like before I even looked at this card, I was feeling a very strong earth energy from this group. Because I'm feeling like you're the type who maybe goes on a lot of hikes, or you go on a lot of adventures. You may travel quite a bit as well, or that's just something that, you know, if somebody asks you what your hobbies are, you're gonna say something that involves going out in nature, moving your body, getting exercise, and really expressing yourself through physical or material means. How you express or define this self-love is going to be through rest as well, since this figure on the card is resting, grounding themselves into the earth and feeling their heart open to the natural forces around them. So for you, your definition of self-love is anywhere where you can relax, where you can be free to be yourself, where you can still be spontaneous, like the rabbits in the background remind us, where you can feel connected to the right community. And the reason why I say the right community is it's always going to be people who allow you to be comfortable within your own energy and don't push your boundaries or push you to be in a situation that feels outside of your comfort zone in a way that is harmful to you. So you're somebody that probably likes to push the boundaries quite a bit already, and you already have a pretty flexible comfort zone, and you like to actually push yourself outside of that comfort zone. But I feel in the past you've had people around you who actually infringed on your sense of self-love by trying to push you too far. And get you to be a little more adventurous than you care to be. So yeah, this group, you definitely have a lot of animal connections in terms of connecting to yourself. You may see yourself a lot in animals, and that may be a form of expressing that self-love by connecting to these animal spirits and seeing yourself in this animalistic way. As well as for some of you, this could actually come through as like sexual experiences that are expressed in a way that's more like primal in nature, less humanistic, if that makes sense. And so being able to really connect to those like basal desires for you and fulfill those needs is really what's going to be the expression of self-love for you. So, you know, making yourself a healthy meal, or a meal that's full of comfort foods, or connects you to your culture or your nation of origin, or places that you visited as well, to kind of reconjure those memories of your travels. These are the things that really help you to feel that love from within and feel nourished by your inner caretaker, that inner, sometimes I like to call it like the inner parent, but that inner self that is mature and wants to provide our needs to us. And so you're somebody that also may not need so much luxury in your life, as long as it's something that fulfills these like higher emotional desires for you. So you may be somebody that's not super into fashion or anything like that, or elaborately decorating your home, but as long as you have something that appeals to your aesthetic need, so like something that's high quality, for example, especially if you have earth energy in your chart, this is going to be like, for example, I'm looking at a blanket that I have laid on my bed right now, and I never usually go and buy super like expensive like name brand type things, but I bought this UGG blanket because it's so like fluffy and soft and high quality and good for the winter where I live. And so that's the kind of energy that I'm getting from you, is that you like to get things that are high quality, that will nourish your base needs and actually help you to feel like you're living in luxury, when in reality you're meeting those needs in a way that feels really comfortable for you. And if you don't already do that, I would recommend, getting something that is a really high quality that will last you for a while, because you'll feel that sense of like pride, not only in being able to afford that item for yourself, but also in the sensory experience of like having something that, feels like it's, has a high worth or a high value in its material essence, not necessarily in its aesthetic quality, because like the blanket that I'm mentioning is literally like the most basic blanket ever. It's just, gray and white, but it's the actual material of the blanket that is what makes it and the weight of the blanket that makes it feel luxurious, if that makes sense. So we're going to move on to card 2, and I'm going to be shuffling on camera because I'm using multiple different decks. Like I'm using one deck per card for the spread. So the second card is going to represent your needs, and we're going to reflect on how your needs are without bias or influence from others, because sometimes, we feel like our needs change based on the circumstance, and they often do. But in general, what are your needs to meet self-love for my first pile? And we had multiple cards come out. 2 of them were stuck together. I'll mention that they were the Chariot and the Temperance card, and I'll show them to you briefly just so you get an idea of what the supporting energy is. But there was one card that landed over here by the camera that I'm going to keep, which is the Daughter of Wands. So your needs seem to be with the Temperance and the Chariot card, something that is focused on your own spiritual healing at this time. I'm going to kind of read this as a conditional need. I feel like you're needing a lot more stimulus from your world right now. You're needing that insight into something that can help you heal. For some of you, this may have to do with your health. People around you being able to meet your needs, as it has to do with mental or physical health. There's just a strong emphasis on being able to work your magic in the way that you desire. So again, this is another card that's in a page occupation, I guess, within the tarot, because in the court system of the tarot, it's like a 4-fold system, and so you got the first stage in that court grouping twice, with this Page of Earth and then the Daughter of Wands. So the daughters in this deck are the pages. So you're needing someone, like people around you or experiences around you, to really communicate that spark to you, help you to initiate your passion. For a lot of you, I feel if it's not something that's health related, there's something about you really wanting to create a new belief system within your life. And it definitely has to do with healing, for a lot of you, trauma of the past. Because this character in this card in the Page of Earth, I often see as someone who's potentially a little disillusioned by the world and especially societal or cultural circumstances. So a lot of you could feel really discontent with the state of the world, or what's going on like politically and socially right now. And so your needs right now have to do with combating that sense of burnout, that sense of feeling like there's a lack of meaning in your life. The Daughter of Wands, or the Page of Wands, the Page of Fire, is someone who seeks that inner fire to be stoked, to be nourished, to be nurtured, and provoked forward. So you're wanting to be drawn in somewhere, to be really captivated or charmed by a situation around you. And so you're potentially looking for friends or, potential romantic interests who really inspire that sense of intrigue in your life. And especially going back to that snake symbol, that sense of shedding the skin, like I was channeling at the beginning, finding a new sense of self in these situations and being open and curious to that experience. We're going to get the third card, which is how self-love can accommodate those needs. So now that we've addressed that you want to be finding something that inspires your passion, something that potentially brings you to share a message about who you are, these two cards, because they came out together for the third card, they're going to represent how self-love can accommodate these needs. And I feel that this deck is really interesting. I honestly really like using decks. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you probably noticed this, but I like using decks that have writing on the backs of the cards, because the front of the card acts as a very strong intuitive guide or prompt. So as you're looking at these cards, you're maybe getting some kind of message within them. And it's very interesting that they're actually the same exact image. That doesn't happen a lot in the cards in this deck. So there's something here where in order for your self-love to accommodate those needs, you need to feel a union within yourself. Like you're providing yourself with the love, the physical intimacy, the emotional intimacy that you desire first. Because the people who you find in your life can only reflect or respond to how intimate you've been with yourself and how much you've discovered your own needs and desires. So I'm not saying you have to have everything in your life figured out before you meet people who are meant to be in your life. That's obviously not true. Everybody's worthy of love no matter what stage they're at. But I feel that in order to accommodate for these needs, your self-love is going to have to include this sense of intimacy with yourself or deepened intimacy with others, where you're being more vulnerable and open. So let's see what they say on the back. This card here with the rainbow colors says trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. Beautiful. So you need trust to accommodate for your self-love needs right now. And on the other side of this, with this deeper kind of intensely colored card, there is sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. So for some of you, if you are in a romantic connection already, your self-love actually strengthens when you trust and when you honor your union between you and this person, or if you have a lot of close friends or close family members, or even for some of you, this is going to be pets as well. When you honor these connections in your life and find yourself able to trust and able to allow others to make decisions to meet your needs as you've described them, you're going to understand where your desire is pulling you within your life and where your self-love is growing and expanding you towards. This is really beautiful energy, Pow 1. So let's get a final affirmation card. This is also from another deck that I created, except this deck is unpublished as of now. But we're going to pull a card for the fourth card in the spread, which is the methods or approach that would suit this need or this experience of self-love the best. So what method or approach is going to suit this self-love journey best for pile 1? What approach, what affirmation will help them approach self-love in their life, please, Spirit? Ooh, I'm feeling this card. I accept my reality for exactly how it is. This releases me from anguish and allows me to transform. So I'm going to leave this here. And I'm going to say it again. I accept my reality for exactly how it is. This releases me from anguish and allows me to transform. So, pile 1, if you needed a confirmation that you are transforming right now through your own ability to connect with self-love in your life, here I am. I am affirming that to you. And your spirit guides are affirming it to you as well through this reading, through your interaction with this video. So when you accept what's occurring in your life and understand that it's a part of your journey and a part of getting to know yourself and who you are, then you're able to move through and move past energy in your life that is feeling like it's holding you back from connecting with yourself and connecting with that experience of individuality. For a lot of you, it's gonna require, I feel like this trust card was really essential in this reading. It's gonna require you to trust, especially for those of you, if you do have health things going on, you really need to trust the people that are in your life. And more importantly, trust your own judgment. If you have any feelings about situations, if you have any insights about, something your body is telling you, or something that, again, if your body is telling you through an emotional response, listen to those callings from within, because they're really, really important parts of connecting with your deeper, more like authentic expression of yourself. So I hope that this helped you at this time, pile 1. It was such an honor and a blessing to read for you today. I am sending you so much love, so many blessings, and I will see you in another video, my friend. If you want to get a personal reading, that information will be in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you another time. Bye. Hello, my second pile with this amethyst, the purple amethyst druzy. If you selected this second pile, this is your reading. So, in case you skipped the intro, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an insight as to the structure of this reading, because it comes from this book, Tarot Question Everything, which I designed the background portion of the cover, all the art, and then any of the illustrations within, which I believe there is an example of on the page before this. So that little design. The section that we're pulling this from is on connection, and the subsection is called Looking In, Reflect on Your Piece of the Pie. And the spread is on page 44 here. It's a 4-card spread, and we're going to be answering the question, through what methods do I best process self-love? And this book was written by my good friend Lexi Hideko of Light Wands Tarot. I will have her information below. Please check her page out and, give her a follow, send her some love. But anyway, we're going to start in with your reading. So I'm going to give a brief explanation of the crystal you selected, and then we're going to dive into the spread. So right away, this amethyst druzy is interesting. I actually have 3 different pieces of amethyst. I like to connect with it and use it for my own personal practice quite a bit. But the amethyst druzy to me feels like a refraction of the amethyst energy. It not only surrounds in your aura in a cloud of that that purple energy, that kind of glittery, mystical type of magic energy, but it also calms and grounds the energy. I feel the amethyst out of all of the purple crystals is the one that helps me to feel the most in tune with my own conscious energy in a way that feels grounded compared to some other purple crystals like lepidolite or even iolite, where they're more heady. They kind of pull me out of my reality and allow me to like journey or astral project or go deep into like a visual meditation. Amethyst, yes, does offer and provide these energies to us, but I also feel that it's a really earth heavy energy. I don't know how to fully describe that properly. I hope I am. But it's something that really helps to root and anchor the energy of the spiritual realm, and that's why it also provides us with relief from anxiety, from depression, from overstimulation in general, or like sensory overload. So this crystal in general might be really good for you to work with if you want to, both expand yourself spiritually, but also remain quite grounded and connected to your physical experience. Because sometimes if we neglect that physical experience for desire of, ascending spiritually, we can end up bypassing a lot of the lessons that we're supposed to learn in our lifetimes. So anyway, that's a little aside, tapping into your energy. For the first card in the spread, this card is characterized as how you define self-love. And this is from Apocalyptic Theater, which is a deck that I created. So we're going to get a look at how you define self-love for yourself. And we have the Physis card. Physis means nature in Latin. And this card depicts Mother Mary, or the mother of Jesus, the Virgin. And so you may have a connection to the Virgin Mary, or to maybe ancestors in your family have a strong connection to the Virgin, to the Mother. In any essence, even if you're not connected to Christianity, there is a strong sense of Divine Mother, as well as just the earth and I guess like what, a lot of people would typically deem to be like Mother Earth energy or Mother Gaia. There's this energy around your self-love of needing to create an environment that holds you in a space where you can tend to your needs. Because nature, the word physis, indicates this environmental experience, or becoming one with the environment, becoming one with the body as well. For you, self-love means comfort within the body. It also can indicate the ability to find meaning through material matter. So nature can give us this blueprint, so to speak, of the metaphysical realm, and give us these indications of how ritual interacts with the material world as well. Just because I'm drawn to this pyramid, and the pyramids were connected to really intense spiritual rituals, regardless of how ever it's debated as to what they meant. There's just this energy of you being someone who can really philosophically break down what the material around you represents to you in a ritualistic sense. So you may be somebody that has a lot of artifacts or relics from your ancestors, or you may have a practice that was that is quite like old in nature, and does connect you to the natural world as well. And for you, this is how you experience self-love, is through these ritual type practices. For some of you, if this doesn't actually have to do with like a more spiritual or explicitly spiritual practice, I feel that this is like a routine that's like a beauty routine, using certain botanicals or just natural remedies to connect you with your sense of like what feeling beautiful or feeling confident in yourself looks like. So this could even extend to, you know, waking up in the morning and having tea for a breakfast that, you know, helps to refresh or rejuvenate you and get you to be awake and alert for the day, like mint tea might, or tea before bed where you might have lavender. For a lot of you, your crown chakra connects you a lot to the experience and expression of self-love in your life, because I am drawn to this ray or this beam coming from the crown chakra. And so you may also feel a lot of self-love when you're investing in yourself spiritually, or just again back to that sense of ritual and investing in your spirituality. So yeah, even this video right now might be a part of you investing in your self-love. As well as the moon is being drawn to my attention, because the lunar forces may have a lot to do with how you see yourself and how you interpret a sense of self. So you may be a Cancer or a Pisces, as well as you may have a lot of energy concentrated in the 4th house in your chart, in your natal chart, because that house is ruled by the moon. So yeah. Anything else, Spirit, for pile 2 on how they define self-love through this card? The flowers. You may be somebody who really sees flowers as a symbol of, treating yourself. Again, it's interesting that I was bringing up the teas, because I did bring up a floral tea in the lavender tea. But yeah, the rose here, and then this little, I don't even know what type of flower I drew here, but just getting yourself flowers, or treating yourself to things that are just beautiful simply for their quality of like being attractive in a sense, is something that I think really helps you to feel like you're loving yourself. As well as fashion for a lot of you may be another means of expressing self-love. So if you ever get really down on yourself, you may notice that you fall away from adorning yourself, and really, again, like a ritual, like everything that you do to care for yourself really feels like a spiritual ritual. It has some kind of like metaphysical meaning to it, which is honestly beautiful. As well, finally, I want to mention that spending time in nature and learning about nature, I feel like helps you have a deeper appreciation for yourself, because you feel connected to nature. So, okay, we're going to move on and get card 2 from the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz, and this is going to describe your needs. So sometimes our needs can be different than how we define our self-love. Although I do feel like I've described your needs a little bit. And we have the 10 of Cups, or the 10 of Water. And the bottom of the deck energy is a star. It's just calling my attention. So honestly, you have a really positive energy, pile 2. You're just the people in this world who know how to meet your own needs. And so it's almost like your needs are all the excess things. You want people to give you the things that you desire, that they notice that you desire, if that makes sense. So like, you're the type of person who meets all your foundational needs. You provide for yourself a lot, but I feel that your needs from others have to do with having the little details noticed by the people around you. I feel like your needs have to do with companionship. You really want someone who can reflect back to you everything that you're giving out. Because you're such a powerhouse of energy emotionally, you really want somebody who's going to meet you emotionally. And I feel that you definitely need this reflection. If somebody's not living up to that emotional maturity level or that standard that you have set, I feel that you really don't have time for this energy or these people. And it's not to say that you're uncaring or you're cold. It's more that you have compassion for yourself and you know what is going to be fulfilling for you. That's definitely coming through here. As well, I feel that your needs here in the Ten of Cups, again, it's funny that it's cups and they look like teacups. So you have a lot of needs to connect with plant-based medicine. It's something that really nourishes not only your body, but your spirit as well. The spirit of the plant, I feel, is almost more important than the actual like physical quality of the plant. And so having different plant-based allies around you is going to be really essential to you. Especially if you don't have a diet that's plant-based, it's really important to make sure that you add in those plant-based relatives into your experience. What else am I getting here, Spirit, for pile 2 in terms of their needs from the second card? I think in general, because of how there's a focus centrally onto the colors, you're someone who really needs for your energetic system or your chakra systems, because the chakra came out here in this first card too, but it didn't come out in pile 1 at all. So the chakra system, having your energy centers aligned and balanced frequently is going to be really important. If you can spend some time maybe after this reading, go do a chakra balancing and grounding alignment type of meditation where you can balance and align your all 7 to 12, depending on what energy centers you want to work with, all of those chakra centers, and get really grounded and connected to the earth. If you can't, find a meditation that suits you the best, just go outside. It will definitely realign your energy system because your needs are showing that regularly and routinely you need to be realigning your energy centers, making sure that you're not getting them muddied up and getting the colors all mixed in with the others, if that makes sense, because they are described through color. As well, I feel that you have a need to express yourself creatively using a lot of bright colors. So if maybe I'm going back to that fashion type of a thing, wear colors that align with your intentions. And I also feel that you're going to receive like intuitive messages or psychic upgrades through the process of making or creating art. So that's definitely a need for you to feel connected to yourself. Card 3 is represented by how self-love can accommodate those needs. So we're going to be using the Lover's Oracle by Toni, Carmine, Salerno. And this card is going to represent, again, how self-love can accommodate these needs. So how self-love can accommodate pile 2's needs. And 3 cards came out, but I'm just going to take this one that was face up. The other 2 are surrender and romance. So these were kind of supplemental energies. So it's just wanting to say that having a lot of romantic experiences, even if this is you romanticizing your own like personal experiences while you're alone, like by taking photos or just, really celebrating the experiences that you're having by yourself or with others, that's going to really help you to meet these needs for, creative expression, for decorating, for just experiencing a romantic life. Honestly, pile 2, you're just the type of person that really needs low anxiety, low stress situations in your life in order to feel really fulfilled. And so adding in this element of creativity, playfulness is going to really help. And surrender, that card was, just emphasizing your need to, be more childlike, have more play. So this card, I'll actually let you look at it really quick, because I feel like these cards do give a lot of intuitive insight through the images. So yeah, there's a very angelic presence about you, pile 2. And it says, "My beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united, for love transcends space and time. Nothing is missing." So if you have a partner, or a friend, or even for some of you, this is going to be family members or pets that have passed on. But if there's a physical distance between you and someone that you love, don't focus on the distance or the separation right now, because that's actually taking away from having your needs met. Because I feel that this kind of stagnates your energy, focusing on what's lost or what things aren't, or, getting into that lack mentality. And what your guides that are present in this reading are wanting to emphasize to you is that in the heart, in this place of, connection to the soul, connection to the self, connection to the experience of love and that energetic frequency, you're able to really use your experience with self-love to bridge those gaps between you and that which you feel is not of you, or not housed within that individual experience, if that makes sense. And also you're able to see where your heart aligns with those around you as well. So for some of you, this is going to be someone that you feel disconnected from, that's no longer meant to be in your life this lifetime. And it's just an invitation to really pour all of that energy of, the beloved into yourself, and to start to see yourself as your beloved. Because this card is saying, hey, we're united within any construct of space and time. Nothing is missing from who you are. Don't feel like you need to go searching for anything outside of yourself to fulfill these needs. Meeting your own needs is going to come from within, very much so, pile 2. So let's look at the 4th card. This is also from another deck that I created called the Cloudscapes Affirmation Oracle, that is currently unpublished, but I like to use in these videos. So the 4th card is going to be the methods or approach that would best suit this experience of self-love. So what method of approach would best suit pile 2? And it says, "I am confident I will be taken care of and abundant." I'm going to read that again. "I am confident I will be taken care of and abundant." So the method for embracing this self-love, for pulling it into your life and living this energy of self-love, is knowing, to have that confidence, to have an unshakable, almost like determination, it's like merciless determination and conviction that you are taken care of and abundant, that there is never anything that you lack. And I think it's interesting that this card ends with "nothing is missing," and this card says you will be taken care of and abundant, because it's reminding you that there is an ever-present source and flow of energy, of love and connection and nurture that is within you, that you always have access to, because you are nature. You are a part of this thing that you behold as this beloved experience in life. Whew, I got like chills through that whole little message. That was very strong. And I feel like you have a very, how shall I put it, like blunt type of guide that's with you, my pile 2, because this guide really wants to like almost like shake you and be like, hey, wake up. Like there's so much beauty around you, and I just want you to see it. You need to see it, because all these cards that came out are all about, you know, acknowledging the self-worth, to build up that self-worth from within, because I feel that that's really what's missing. That's the key that's going to open up this self-love and this experience of, you know, prioritizing and also validating and appreciating who you are and what you are. So this was such an honor and such a blessing to read for you today, Pile 2. If you want a personal reading, all my information will be in the description box below. Otherwise, I'm sending so much love, so much gratitude, and so many blessings your way. And I will see you in another video. Bye! Hello, Pile 3. If you selected this third group, or the Celestite or Celestine, whoop, this is your self-love reading. So, in case you skipped the intro, no shame. This reading is actually inspired by this book called Tarot, Question Everything by Lexi Hideko of Light Wands Tarot. Lexi is actually one of my good close friends, and I probably wouldn't be reading or as confident in my reading abilities without her, so please give her like a look and see if her content resonates with you on TikTok or on Instagram as well as YouTube. I actually designed the background of the cover, and I also did the, whoops, I just lost my page for today. I did all of the little illustrations within the book, besides the ones around the spreads. But we are doing a spread from the section called On Connection within the book, and the subsection Looking In, Reflect on Your Piece of the Pie. And we're doing this spread on page 44 if you do end up purchasing the deck, or not the deck, the book, sorry. This spread focuses on the question, through what methods do I best process self-love? So we're going to be answering this question, through what methods do I best process self-love, through this reading today. So the first card is from a deck that I've actually published and created called Apocalyptic Theater. So we're going to dive into the first question in the spread. And the first card represents how you define self-love. And this is the Page of Water. So for you, Pile 3, I actually want to kind of go into this crystal before I start to elaborate on the card, because I'm being drawn to this crystal since it does match the colors in the card quite a bit. Pile 3, I feel like you're a very thorough type of energy. You're somebody who likes to have the facts on a situation and you do your research. You're someone who would consider yourselves probably an intellectual or a scholar. And you're someone who definitely, I think, looks at things more through the lens of reason or rationality. But you're also someone who has a very strong imagination or imaginative quality from you. So you have this almost like dualistic nature where you can switch between, you know, the rational and the reasonable, and the factually supported, I guess, and this realm of creativity, of progress, of questioning, of curiosity and discernment. So you have this kind of ability to not only, you know, look at things from this perspective of searching, this perspective of questioning, of broadening your ability to, you know, have information about something and maybe even pioneering what this information means. But you're also able to really string in these facts that matter quite a bit when we're talking about disseminating information. The Page of Water, it's interesting because the energy hasn't really come out towards like how you feel about yourself. It almost feels like for some of you there's a bit of self-depreciation or making yourself small that gets in your way of experiencing self-love, because I think a lot of you feel like you're never quite prepared enough, or you never quite have enough experience or expertise on whatever you're trying to do, depending on what it is. And so this definition of self-love is maybe a bit unformed right now, because I think that you're someone who's really trying to figure out how to love yourself, because I think sometimes in the past, the way that you thought that you were supposed to love yourself ended up being a form of escapism, or trying to run away from your situation in life. And I think it's because you're a person who's really been through a lot of hardships, and I think that's also why you're somebody who's so focused on getting the facts right or the details right about situations, because you never want to be misinformed, or feel like people could, pull one over on you. And I think that actually plays to your strengths, and has allowed you to build up quite a bit of confidence, and not feel so gullible to the world. And I think that ability to, use your perception to heal yourself through intellectual pursuits has actually really been an asset in your life. And I think you shouldn't discredit your mental abilities, and your ability to bring a lot of information together and find like personal relevancy in your life. I think that that's honestly an asset, and a way that you define self-love for yourself is through bringing all these different bits of information together. And the horse skeleton down here, I think, is important because it shows that you have a really strong determination. I think that honestly, one of the ways that you've loved yourself in the past that you know of is by persevering and always holding fast to the idea that, you're worth more than what you've experienced in the past. And you're more than how other people have decided to treat you as well. So, another way that you may define self-love is through like physical care for yourself, like through taking showers or baths, or hydration in general, as well as for some of you, this is going to be through, for some reason, dream work is coming up. And potentially DreamWorks, like the movie company, so like going and seeing movies that are kind of lighthearted may also be another way that you define loving yourself, is allowing yourself to have those mental breaks. And going to visit the ocean is another one. If you do have like a body of water near you, that may be very highly tied into your sense of self-love. I'm just getting a lot of like air and water energy from this group, so you may have a lot of prominent placements that are airy or watery. So, and that would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius for water, for air, and then Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio for water. So, let's get the second card in the spread, and this is going to represent your needs, and this is from the Wild Unknown Tarot. So what are the needs of pile 3? What do they need to experience self-love, or what are their needs in general from the world around them or from themselves? What do they need to feel fulfilled in this life? Just one card. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to take the one that actually landed on top here, but the second card is going to be kind of a clarifier for it, or just adding to my understanding of the energy. And we have the 10 of Swords, so again, more air energy. And it has the bison or the buffalo that has the sword through the eyes. So it's interesting. This card, actually, the background is like an iris and a pupil. So again, there's something about the eyes, but also being obscured. I think that something that you actually need on a subconscious level is to conjure more belief in your life, at least at this time. So I'm going to read this more conditionally because the Ace of Wands came out. This is you being able to find more synchronicity in your life, and also like expand through sheer belief. I think that you've spent a lot of time in the intellectual realm, in researching and finding really tangible, secular, earthly, historical type of evidence, even scientific evidence for some of you, for certain things. But I feel like you're really craving a belief that doesn't have to be quite as explained or grounded. And I think that that's something that you actually need. And it's interesting that that's coming through for that, because the Ace of Wands talks about, a new belief coming into our lives, or a new realm of passion, a new way to direct our willpower or our energy or our magic. And so there's something here where I feel like a lot of you have a great potential to step into your spiritual power or your spiritual authority. And right now, what's going to help you do that is by finding something that's a little bit more in the realm of the unproven, the belief-based, the trusting in the universe type of energy. And by finding some kind of place to anchor some kind of faith into. And so your needs, in a more general sense, feel like they're more like a need for you to open yourself to the universe, to open yourself to any spiritual guides or deities that you work with, to really allow them to work through your life and show you in their own way, using their own evidence, that they're working in your life, or that these forces are at play in your life. Another need that I feel that you have is for the people around you to embody a fiery energy, meaning that they're people who are charismatic, charming, almost entertaining for you, because I feel like you can get bored with people pretty easily. And so a lot of you really need people around you to be lighthearted, to, create an experience for you, to really embody these I want to say like masculine roles. Like I feel like a lot of you actually need someone to like provide you with resources, or for some of you these are going to be like, since this is a more general reading, I'm just feeling like you're looking for someone in particular to provide you with a service. Like for example, when I was going to be publishing Apocalyptic Theater, I was looking for somebody who was able to provide me with some of the like logistics part of publishing. And so that's just the energy that I'm getting here, is like you're needing someone to like fulfill a need that's like different than the energy that you bring to the table. So that's why I say, like, if you're more in air and water in your chart, you're gonna really need someone who embodies the fire and the earth elements, because it's going to round you out and balance your energy as well. I'm feeling like a lot of you are needing some kind of practical plan or action-based practice for yourselves to really bring in this spiritual energy, this knowledge, this intellectual authority that you have, so that you can start to use it to the best of your ability in the physical realm. Because the Ace of Wands can talk about inspired action as well, and actually grounding those practices. Because the thing about fire is that it needs earth to burn. It needs something to consume in order to travel, to disperse its energy, and to really build up that energy as well. So for a lot of you, you may be feeling kind of low energy, and so that's why I'm saying, like, you're needing people around you that have this high energy, that can really help you to manifest that inspired action. So the third card in this spread represents how self-love can accommodate those needs. So how can self-love accommodate the needs that we just outlined in the second card for pile 3? Whoa! Okay, we got a bunch of cards that just came together, and then one fell on the ground, and it's this. So take a little gaze at this card and intuitively pick up on what it means for you. And I will read what's on the back. Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. So, this is a very literal answer to that question. How self-love can accommodate these needs is actually going to bring people that fulfill you on a soul level into your life. So it's interesting that I was saying that you need someone or people around you that balance you out. And I think that your higher guides are saying, hey, it's time to actually start to invite these higher spiritual connections and relationships into your life because it's really important for you. And it's interesting that the people on this card almost look like they have like a grid on them. So for some of you, you're going to meet this person over the internet. And for others, it's more of like the energetic like network of your body is really needing an energetic network or grid of someone else's spiritual energy. So for some of you, this is going to be finding a like spiritual healer or a spiritual worker that you resonate with to really help you to recalibrate your own energetic system. And for others of you, this is going to be a relationship that attunes you to connecting to that energetic system and being able to tend to a little bit more. Because for a lot of you, I feel that in general, even though you may not feel that you need a lot of physical support or physical nourishment in terms of like relationships or a relationship with yourself, this is something that I feel is something that you could work towards through your connections with other people. So having self-love can actually allow you to accept soulmates into your life. And I also feel for a good majority of you, this is going to mean like once you connect to loving yourself more deeply, you're actually going to manifest that like relationship that you've been wanting. So for a lot of you, I do feel like romance and the question of romance is really like at the forefront of your mind. So definitely tune into this experience of loving yourself, not talking yourself down, finding that intuitive curiosity and letting it lead you towards pieces of yourself that you've maybe lost in translation or lost just through the nature of, having human amnesia and experiencing this human experience. So uncovering bits of yourself is going to be really important, especially, continue doing that research if you feel like you're being drawn towards parts of yourself that really resonate, that are reflected out in the material world. So the fourth card in this spread says the methods or approach that would suit this best. And these methods or approach are going to lead you to more self-love. And we have another blue and yellow card. So it's funny, these colors really lined up throughout the entire reading. These may be the colors of your aura: blue, red, orange, yellow, and potentially a little brown. So that would be root, solar plexus, throat chakras. And this says, I am patient with situations beyond my control. So really the method for finding self-love is being patient with yourself and being patient with the universe as the universe brings to you bits and pieces of information that maybe you don't recognize are a big part of your journey, but they are a really essential aspect for you for discovering where you're meant to be and what your path is unfolding for you in this lifetime. So that's all I'm seeing for you, pile 3. I will provide any information in the description below if you want to book a personal reading or check out any of my other socials. Otherwise, I'm sending so much love, so many blessings, and so much gratitude your way today, my friend. And I will see you in another video. Bye.